Good morning, everybody. It's Rubalina Woods, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing BushClass Day 3, which this one's pretty simple. It's just cordage doing, cordage wrapping, tying, braiding. So we're going to be doing a 2-strand twist with man-made cordage, and we're going to be doing a 3-strand braid with man-made cordage. The cordage we're going to be using today is jute twine, which is natural material but man-made into a rope. So we're just making stronger rope from weaker rope. So let's get started. This should be pretty simple, pretty fun, and a good precursor to doing this type of stuff with plant material. So let's get down and let's get started. All right, guys, so I just watched the video on how to do the 2-strand twist to make cordage. And basically what our objective is to make about 4 to 5 feet of a 2-strand twist cordage, and this should be interesting. This will be kind of new, but I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut away this part so we just have straight hemp cord to use. So let me get out my knife, which I think y'all will like. A little bit of a sidebar, but this is the it's the Rough Rider Reserve easy open jack slip joint. My girlfriend got this for me last week, or not last week, about Thursday. It arrived Thursday. She got it for me last Monday, and I love this thing. I was so glad I was able to get one of these because couldn't really find them, but they came in stock now on SMKW, so I got one, and I love it. This is a high quality slip joint for about a case price. When you compare this to case, you see that case is just it's got nothing on reserve. But anyway, let's do this. I'm gonna cut this away. I love this knife though. My girlfriend did a great job picking a knife for me. All right, so we're going to need to make a 4-foot cord, we'll probably need about 8 feet, I'm gonna assume. So I know I'm 5 feet tall, so let's go. I'm gonna say this should probably be enough. So let's get that. Let's cut it with my knife. Give it a good old slice. All right, I have my buck on me, but I just want to use this one. It's a great one. Rock. All right, so let's do it. So I think I'm gonna find the middle here. It's this little point right here where my thumb is. This will be a little bit hard to show y'all just because I don't have one of those stands. I really need to get a phone stand. I'm gonna cut that off so I don't have that sticking out while we're working. All right, but anyway, what we have to do is, so we have this little loop right here at the end, and we have to turn it the same way till we get this little kink loop right here. And there's 2 methods to do it. Oh yeah, this was the other method, which was you're basically taking it and you're twisting both ends of it, or both strands of it, in the same direction, and it'll continue to kink and wrap itself as you go, which I think is actually pretty cool. That could speed up the process of making cordage a lot for some people if they, if it just takes them a long time because they do it differently. I think it's really cool because it kind of does it itself as you twist. So I think we're gonna keep doing that. Actually, that might actually be the new way that I start doing it, because I never heard of this method until I watched this lesson video. I had always used like the overhand twist and stuff, and to be fair, I mean, it was sometimes difficult to get good cordage out of that. I know it takes practice, but it's just like, it wasn't easy. It wasn't something that like seemed to come naturally, straighten that a little bit. But this should make the amount that we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to time lapse the rest of this. Alright guys, so I made about 4 feet of cordage here, of 2-twist cordage, or 2-strand twist cordage. It's turned out pretty well. I hope y'all can see that. I'm pretty proud of how that turned out. That didn't take too horribly long, maybe just a couple minutes to make about 4 or 5 feet of it. I want to say this is about 4 feet or so. Let me test it with my height. Yeah, this is about 4 feet. I would say that sounds about right. So I used about 8 feet of cordage to make this, with a little bit of leftovers over here, which I actually might leave, because if I want to splice something into this and make it longer, I can. But I just put a little square knot right here just to kind of keep it from unraveling and all that. But I mean, this turned out pretty cool. I guess some key takeaways from this is that making sure you're twisting each strand properly is very important to make sure you actually get this like double strand twist, because if not, it kind of does this weird thing where it's like you're just wrapping one line around the other instead of them both twisting together and braiding, if that makes sense. So that's important. And I think I got to make a comment on how, if you're not used to this, your hands will probably hurt, because it's a lot of finger movement and like tight finger work. It's really cool though. I think that's awesome. I guess that we've kind of figured out this. But basically, I actually thought this was kind of cool because, you know, people always, you know, are worried about using cords that aren't 550 paracord just because they aren't as strong as, you know, a different cord. Or let me rephrase that. I was thinking while I was saying that about something different. People are always afraid of using cords that aren't 550 paracord for stuff like shelter building or tool making and stuff like that, because they're worried about the strength of, you know, something like jute cord, or, you know, lack thereof. And, you know, that makes sense. But what I kind of realized is it's good practice and it's good skill, and it's something you can do. You can make a strong 2-strand twist jute cord or something of such, or a braid, for extremely cheap. Like, because generally, I mean, if you go on Amazon, you're paying like $9, $10 plus for 100 feet of paracord. And then you can go to Walmart or something and pay $3, $2 even for jute twine or hemp twine, that's still strong by itself, and you get like 300 some feet of it. Actually, I don't even think, I want to say it was yards, not feet, judged by this. I want to say it's actually like 300 some yards of jute twine. You can make a crap ton of 2-strand or 3-strand cordage using this jute or hemp, and you can have strong cordage. And I mean, I have all over this shelter, I've used a mix. I've used paracord for the main parts of it, but I've used jute basically everywhere else, and except for some natural cordage. So I mean, I think this is pretty cool, and it's extremely useful of a skill, because you can save a lot of money, and you can, you know, work with what you've got instead of worrying about not having strong enough cordage. You can make strong cordage. So now that we have that, we're going to move on to the 2-strand, or not the 2-strand, the 3-strand braid. So I'm going to watch the lesson on that, and then we'll go through it. Guys, so I just watched the video on how to do the man-made braid. This should definitely be interesting. This seems a little bit more complicated, and especially to film this, I might have a little bit of trouble. But it was funny because it seems fairly simple, but then also not. It's really interesting. But basically, my deduction on this so far is because it was mentioned that this is not as strong as a 2-strand twist. This might not be something you want to use all the time, except for things like deer snares that were mentioned. But anyway, we're gonna make this. We have to make about 5 feet of it, of braid. So I'm gonna be getting 3 individual strands that are about 5 feet long of cordage. I think that's about 5 feet right there. There's one. And we're gonna be using those to make the cordage. So let's, I wanna make sure that they're about the same length. All right, that should be good right there. All right, there's 2. Now let's get one more. I think I'm severely overestimating how much I've got, but I don't know if that's quite a problem. Jeez, I can't keep it still to cut it. There we go. All right, 3. So let's move this. All right, so let's get started on this. This should be interesting. First, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna tie off the ends of these all together. No real instruction on how that was to be done, but I'll figure it out. I guess I might do a figure 8. So here, let's do that. And hopefully they'll all stay together. But we'll do this figure 8 and then we'll actually get started on our, there we go. Easy. All right, so this should be interesting. So basically what it is you have 3 strands, and I'm trying to keep them untangled, but you're basically doing like left over right movements, and the center, and it's all braiding together because you do a left over right, and then what was originally your right becomes your center, and so you're just continuously doing that as the cordage pieces shift, and eventually you get a braid. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this somewhere hanging up so I can do it down as in the video was. That seems easiest. Doing it right here feels like it's going to be a pain in the butt. So I'm going to try and position a camera, and I'm going to try and do this so y'all can see it. If not, I might just have to do it off camera and show it to you afterwards. All right, so the thing that I enjoyed doing is I had this little black strand of paracord hanging off of my shelter's lashings. And what I did, because I already had this knot from the figure 8 in my 3-strand, all I did was do a little overhand and slip this knot into the overhand knot. And because this basically acted as a stop knot, I can use it to hold the 3-strand. So let me see if I can't position a camera somewhere and y'all can see this. All right, so hopefully this will work. Let me move this out of the way so I have room. And we'll do this. All right. So hopefully you can see that. Won't be staring at my butt too long. Yeah, this is probably one of the best I can do. But yeah, let's see. All right, so we have our center strands. Let's do it. All right, so right, no, left, right. Right. So we got. Oh, okay, I see. With this length of cord, it's a little more complicated trying to figure out what's what. All right, guys, so we finished the 3-strand braided piece of cordage, as you can see here, and my final takeaway from that was a lot easier than I had thought it would be. I had a very good time doing that, and once you kind of get a rhythm and cadence down, you have it. You have a twist going on. I think this is awesome. I went a little above and beyond the Call of Duty. I made a good solid, I want to say about like 7 or 8 feet of this braid, but I can't really complain because I had so much fun doing it. It was very relaxing, but it's also very, it's good to do. And I think this would definitely be an easy option if you wanted to take smaller cord, make bigger cord so you can use it for shelters and stuff. And I couldn't help but think during it, what if you took 3 of these and made a braid out of 3 braided pieces? You could get some very strong pieces of rope very quickly, because this did not take too long. It took maybe like, I want to say probably like 8 or 10 minutes to do this big old strand of rope. If I wanted to expand it, I'm not entirely sure how I would do that, or like splice in another braid if I wanted to make it longer, but that's something I'll practice with and I can figure out. But I mean, that was actually pretty fun to do. So we have a good solid long piece of braided rope, and I'm actually very proud of it. That was not hard to make. But I mean, if you have 300 feet of jute cord, you could make 100 feet of this. And I mean, you have a strong rope going on, and that's only like, you pay $4 for 100 feet of very strong jute rope. And I think that's a pretty smacking deal. So, I mean, basically that's it for today. That we did what we set out to do. We made about 4 or 5 feet of double braid twist cord, and we made more than the 5 feet of braided twist cord, or braid cord. So I'm pretty happy about that. I think that is a very fun thing to do. It's very relaxing. It's a good skill to have, and once you kind of get the rhythms down, it goes by like that. It's very fun and easy to do. So I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I had a good time making that. I think I'm going to play around with splicing in more pieces of cordage to make longer rope. And but yeah, I mean, that was fun. That was definitely something good to know, because I learned a lot today. I learned how to braid this, and I learned a very reliable and easy way to make a twisted strand. I'm happy with it. So anyway, I hope you guys got some stuff out of this. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe you'll practice this yourself. I'll put the links in the description to BushClass and to these lessons in particular. But thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and if you have something you want to say, leave it in the comments. I love having comments. I love talking to people. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, guys, so like I said, I was going to play around with like splicing in more cordage. So what I did is I took an extra piece that I had that was just like laying on the ground, that I bent in two, and I started it like I was making a whole new piece of cordage, where I got the little eye. What I did was I took the 2 strands at the end that weren't wrapped together from the main piece of cord, ran them through the eye, and tied them off using a little square knot. And that just basically spliced in, or I guess it didn't really splice in, but it tied in a new piece of cord, which I wrapped and then just tied off at the end. So I thought, that's not a bad way to do it. That might be a weak point, might be a strong point, I'm not entirely sure, but it worked to help me get a bit more cordage in that's going to stay together. So I thought you might want to see that, but I was pretty happy with that. Haven't figured out how to do this yet. Maybe if I do, I'll make another video on it, but anyway, I thought you might want to see that.